I painted these models for Warhammer Fantasy as a teenager. I've learned a lot about painting since then, and I thought it might be fun to give these models new life. Let me show you my method for stripping and repainting models while I give these guys the shiny new paint job you see on your screen right now. My first course of action is to free these models of their sloppy old paint job. Now there are a few ways to do it, but my go-to involves a chemical cleaner called Simple Green. It's widely available in most big box and hardware stores. It's a pretty straightforward process. I put the models in with the Simple Green into a container and let them soak for a few days. My recommendation is 2 to 3. Okay, but what actually happened is I forgot about them while working on a different video, and so I soaked them for close to 2 weeks. This shouldn't damage the plastic, but extended soaks in the dip can sometimes lead to the glue weakening, so let's take them out and see what we're working with. Time for a little scrubbing. I take my models to the sink and delicately but firmly scrub them with a toothbrush I'm not planning on sticking in my face anymore. My goal isn't necessarily to get 100% of the paint off, just enough where the majority of the details are no longer obscured. Interestingly, almost all of the paint came off of my Free Company models, but the primer stuck to my swordsman. Fine by me. I wonder what I did differently all those years ago. Perhaps they're a different kind of plastic? Probably a different primer too. I did have 3 shields come off, 1 sword arm, and 1 model came off of their base entirely. No problem at all, nothing a little glue can't fix, and word to the wise, try not to let anything go down the drain if you scrub at the sink. I may have done that once or twice. Alright, so we've applied some new sand to the base and a light coat of Krylon Gray Primer, and we're ready to gussy them back up. I start with the metallics. There's going to be some dry brushing, so let's get that out of the way before we apply anything else. Across all of the models, I begin with a coat of rough iron on the metallic areas. I like using this color when I don't want shining, gleaming metals. I'm aiming for a grim, gritty look at the finish. The next step is a simple black wash across all of the areas we just painted. Chest pieces, weapons, shields, etc. After some drying time, we finish with a light dry brush of the gunmetal. Easy work for a nifty result, if not a bit messy, which is why we knocked this one out right away. So now I go color by color and apply them one at a time across all of the models, assembly line style. Starting with black-brown, applying it arbitrarily to whatever piece of clothing I think fits for that model. Next up is khaki gray. It's a nice, modest, mustardy brown. We're going to hit most of the clothing we didn't get before. I love using this color for fantasy and historical miniatures. I try and make sure colors are separated by different colors, for the most part. If they have black shoes, I'll try to avoid black pants, for example. Some exceptions, of course, but that's just my general strategy. The last of my major paint scheme colors is going to be black-red, just to get a little saturation in there, and I hit details like pendants, decorative items, and clothing I didn't get in the previous steps. Now I apply flat brown to any leather details such as belts, pouches, and straps, as well as hair. With a coat of flat flesh over faces, hands, we are done with the base coats. And now we are ready for the washes. Starting off with Agrax Earthshade, I apply to all the colors except the flesh and the black-brown. The black-brown areas get black wash, and the flesh areas get flesh wash. Important note, shake the shit out of your wash bottles. And once you're done, shake the shit out of them again. If you don't mix them well enough, they'll dry glossy, which happened here to me on the flesh wash. That color in particular seems super keen to separate in the bottle, so learn from my mistakes. Alright, with the washes dry, we can start working on our midtones. Starting with the black areas, I'm just going to apply a mix of black, brown, and neutral gray, about a 2-to-1 ratio. I'm keeping it loose and painting a little haphazardly. I'm just trying to hit the obvious raised areas and avoid crevices. Same technique, but with our khaki gray. I'll mix a little bit of flat red into our red-black to paint over the red spots, about a 1-to-1 ratio. Most of the areas I've painted red on these models are a little bit more intricate, so I'm careful this time around. A quick round of flat brown to the belts, straps, scabbards, and hair. Then I finish off the midtones with flat flesh to the raised areas of the hands and faces, and that one dude's calves. Now we begin the edge highlighting. Nothing crazy, but here's when it starts to get a little finicky. I grab my 3-0 brush and just try to pick out the very edges of the models. I'm trying to keep my hand steady, and as with every step, if you mess up, that's okay. You can always go back and fix it. I mix a little bit of buff in for the khaki gray highlights, about a 1-to-2 ratio. Then straight flat red for the red highlights, pretty straightforward. All the leather areas and hair I'm going to highlight with flat earth. Flat brown to flat earth for leather is one of my favorite recipe discoveries in the last few years of painting. Lastly, the raised areas of skin such as knuckles, brows, nose, and cheekbones I'm going to highlight with buff. While on the one hand, it's hard to overwrite a piece of your painting history, I have to say I'm super pleased with the outcome of this project. While not as vibrant, I think this new color scheme fits the bill. Grim and low fantasy. This is just what I need for my OSR games. And truth be told, I'm super tempted to repaint the rest of my Empire models in this scheme, though there's a ton of them, and that would be quite the commitment. If I get more Warhammer Fantasy games going in the near future, I may very well bite the bullet on that one. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching. If you're into miniature painting content, then please like the video and subscribe. It really helps a growing channel out. This is Bristle Cult. Happy painting, and I'll see you on the next one.